Hey everybody, welcome to the top 3 things you may have missed while reading The Whipping Boy. In this episode, we'll look back at Chapter 4 for words or phrases that may have been confusing or weird. If you don't have a copy of The Whipping Boy, you can find a link to it in the description below. Let's get started. Number 1. Containing hands in the fog. Just like Chapter 1's title, Chapter 4's title refers to something about to happen. After running away in the night, the boys decided to travel by horse through a forest. When a thick fog comes up, they are surprised by 2 men who come out of nowhere and grab them. Normally, when you use the word containing, you're talking about something holding something else, like a shoebox that contains shoes. The title could refer to how the men caught Jimmy and Prince Brat in the fog and are now holding them in their hands. Containing could also mean to restrain or control something. So the title could be talking about how the men captured the boys and are holding them so they can't escape. It's hard to know what the title means until you've read the chapter, but that's what makes it interesting. It's mysterious at first, but it gets new and better meaning once you've done the reading. Number 2. Find me on nose. After they get lost in the foggy woods, Prince Brat tells Jimmy to get off the horse and lead it by hand. Jimmy thinks this is crazy and replies, "Lead it? In this fog? I'd need 2 hands and a lantern to find me own nose." So, to show just how thick the fog is, Jimmy says he basically can't see anything but the fog. He can't even see his own nose. He gives us an exaggeration by saying he needed a lantern and his hands feeling around in order to find his own nose. An exaggeration is when you say something is a lot better or worse than it really is in order to prove a point. An example would be if you were really hungry, you might say, "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse." Even though you couldn't really eat a whole horse, you're trying to show that you are super hungry. In the book, Jimmy was trying to tell the prince that it was too foggy to be walking a horse. Number 3. Dog and rat pits. When Jimmy gets off his horse, he starts thinking of a plan to escape and leave the prince behind. He decides he'll try to make it back to the sewers, where he can hide and make a living by catching rats. Why would anyone want to buy rats? Evidently, it's because they can be used to battle in the dog and rat pits. These pits were little arenas for a sport called rat baiting, where people make dogs and rats fight. The dog or rat owners could make money by having people pay to watch or by betting on how long it took for the dogs to kill the rats. It sounds like a crazy thing to do. It's kind of like when people make roosters fight to the death, or even a little bit like the sport of boxing or martial arts. Were there any other parts of the chapter that sounded strange or confusing to you? If so, find an adult you know and ask them what they think the story means. Thanks, and see you next time.